Sauerkraut, along with so many other fermented foods, is such a good addition to your diet. So I'm going to show you how to make them with a crock today. The first step is to remove any damaged leaves from the outside. I've already done that, but now I want to remove 2 more good-sized leaves because I'm going to use those to cover my kraut. Now I'll cut my cabbage in half and pull out the core. I want to shred the cabbage down to about 1/4 of an inch. I like to do it on this cabbage cutter, but you can also do it on a mandolin or even just cut it with a knife. The key is to have it as fine as you can. When I'm cutting these by hand, I just try to cut them finely, about that 1/4 of an inch. If there's a few larger ones in there, it won't be that big of a deal, as long as the majority of it is fine. This was 6 pounds of cabbage, so that's a pretty significant amount, but you'll see that it shrinks down so much as I work with it. I'll add 1/4 of a cup of salt. This needs to be non-iodized, otherwise it will inhibit the fermentation. And then I mix in the salt and massage the cabbage at the same time. And I'll do this for about 15 minutes. By the time I'm done, the cabbage will be much softer and have a lot of liquid at the base. Now I'll place all of my cabbage and the liquid that I've gotten out of it into my crock. This one is a water seal crock, but it'll work the same for either one. Now I'll just press those all down to the bottom so that they're one layer, kind of encourage that liquid to come up to the top. And then I'll take my 2 reserved leaves and I'll place those on top. I'll do a layer of them. I just kind of tuck them around. And this just helps protect that top layer of the sauerkraut. It's not uncommon to get a little bit of mold on top. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen sometimes. And you can just remove that. If you have this leaf on the top, then you remove the leaf from the top and you're good. Now I'll place my weights in and put them right on top of those leaves. And then I want to press down until I get as much liquid as I can to go up over the top of those leaves. And those weights will keep it submerged. And then I'll place my lid on, and if this was a regular crock, that would be all that I would do. And I would just kind of recheck it about once a week to make sure that it was good. For this one, because it's a water seal crock, I'll actually put water right in this little valley here. And what that does is it makes it a closed system so that there's not air going in. And I actually won't do anything else for 3 weeks besides make sure that that water level stays where it's supposed to be so that that water seal is maintained. So it's been 3 weeks and I'm ready to open up my crock. I've had to continually add water to this because it's dry enough here that it tries to evaporate it all, and I wanted to make sure that seal was good. And it looks good in here. I can smell the fermentation. There is a little bit of scum on my weights, but that's no big deal. So I'll pull those out, and then I'll pull out those individual leaves that I put in. I like these because I feel like they help protect it. So at this point, I'm gonna dump off all of the water on the edge there so that I don't have to worry about it. I really like how this crock has that edge and is able to seal out all of the outside air, but it does make it a little harder to get into. So at this point, I'll pull out my sauerkraut, and it's all perfectly fermented. And I have 2 choices now. I can either put it in the refrigerator where it will keep for up to 6 months, or I can actually can it. The downside of canning it is that it will destroy any bacteria that are in it, good or bad. But if I put it in the refrigerator, all of those probiotics I'll be able to use. Of course, the downside to that is that it uses up refrigerator space. So it all depends on what your needs are. So I'll place my sauerkraut in my jars up to 1/2 of an inch of headspace. I'll continue to press down until the liquid comes up and covers the kraut. Now I'll use my tamper to press down and make sure that all of that liquid is up at the top and that it's up to that 1/2 of an inch of headspace. So this partial jar I'll place in my refrigerator and I'll use it right away. And like I said, it's actually good for up to 6 months. I just don't have enough space to put the rest of these. So I'll enjoy the probiotics from these now, and then these I'll enjoy the taste of later. For canning, I'll use a clean damp cloth and wipe off the rim of my jars so that they get a good seal. I'll then place on my lids and rings until they're fingertip tight. I'm using Superb lids today. This is an American-made company, and they actually have this super nice squishy seal that is good for up to 36 months of sealing, as opposed to 18 months for your average jar. And it also has corrosion-resistant coatings on it, which is good because I keep mine in my root cellar and it's a little more humid. I need to start out with the water in my boiling water bath at just a lukewarm temperature so that it doesn't break my jars. And then I'll put in my jars so that they're submerged 1 to 2 inches, and I'll process them for 20 minutes if I'm at sea level. I'm at 1,200 feet, so I'll process them for 25. But I won't start my timer until after they start to boil. Now that my timer's gone off, I'll remove the lid, turn off the heat, and let it cool for 5 minutes. I place the jars on a heat-resistant surface about 1 to 2 inches apart so that they can cool quickly. I'll leave them there for 24 hours so that they can get a good seal. I can tell they have a good seal if the center of the lid has depressed down. If it has, I'll remove the ring, wash the outside with hot soapy water, and store it in a cool, dry, dark location like my pantry and use it in the next 1 to 3 years. If it didn't seal, I would put it in the refrigerator and use it right away. Okay, so for the taste test, of course, this one hasn't been canned, so there isn't the amount of heat that would have gone to it, but it's such a lovely sauerkraut. You get that fermented flavor as well as that little bit of saltiness that's so good, especially with a bratwurst.